Well, hello everyone and welcome to another very exciting episode here on the MIgardener channel. I know you all are going to love this one, but to the untrained gardener, this may seem like it's going to be a very boring episode, but it is so important. And I want to start out by saying that it is so important. The topic of sand is so important because it can truly make or break a garden, and I want to talk about that. So we're titling this episode Sand, Friend or Foe. And it is something that, like I said, can make or break a garden. For our garden, it makes it. For your garden, it might break it. So I want to start out by saying that. You have to know that it can be good and bad depending on your soil type. So let's get into it now. So the first thing I want to talk about is why it can be a friend. Sand is very good at creating air pockets, increasing drainage, increasing aeration, and just helping to loosen the soil for plants that have fine wiry roots like lettuce, or plants that need better drainage like carrots, or some of your other ones that have issues with root rot. A lot of your brassicas, potatoes need really good drainage. So you don't want soil that holds onto that water super tight and doesn't drain really well. Sand does an amazing job at helping with that. It is a friend for you if you have soil that you just need that additional little aeration. So for our garden, we have pure compost. And so let me start off by saying pure compost is the only time you can add sand. If you do not have pure compost or something that is like compost related, if it is native soil and it's not the most perfect humus-rich, organic matter-rich native soil, do not use sand. And I'll tell you why. Sand, we're going to get into the faux part now, sand will hurt your garden more than if you didn't add it at all. Because sand, if you use it in combination with clay, will create essentially concrete. It will bind your soil up and it will prevent you from actually having that aeration. It will actually make the problem worse. Because of the fact that sand is very poor at breaking up clay, it's a very common misconception that sand breaks up clay, because due to particle size, you think the sand particles are, a lot bigger than clay particles. Clay particles are the smallest particles actually. But the problem is that they just don't have the thing is that clay is actually a chemical bond. It's alkaline, it's got lime in it. And the problem with that is the fact that you have those chemical bonds, and those chemical bonds in the clay combined with what makes it clay, sand cannot break that up. So what you want to do is you want to actually come in with gypsum if you have clay soil. Gypsum will break up your clay because it actually has the chemicals in the gypsum to break up the chemical bonds of the clay, and it gets in between there and it can actually loosen it. Sand will, like I said, just cake it up, make your garden 10 times worse. Another thing with adding sand that a lot of people neglect to do is fertilize frequently. Because sand helps drainage, what happens is there's something called leaching, and leaching is the process of water taking your nutrients and pulling it away from your plants, because nutrients are water soluble. Most nutrients are water soluble. There's some minerals that are not, but most of your nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium can be found in water soluble forms. And what happens is when you water your garden or it rains or you have winter, that melting of whatever precipitation you have, if it's water-based, it's going to pull those nutrients away. And sand actually will act as a catalyst to speed up that process. So if you have just compost, it's not going to drain as fast out of your soil, because of the fact that, like I said, you're adding it to increase the drainage. But with increasing drainage, water will move through your soil faster, expediting the process of your leaching. So you might find that you have to go back and fertilize again, maybe a second time during a season. But for most people, if you have a really good organic matter rich soil and you remineralize with compost at the end of the season, it's going to be totally fine. It's just for our garden, like I said, the pros way outweigh the cons of using it. So definitely use this information to your benefit, and hopefully it helps. I really hope that you guys will take this information, use it in your garden, and don't make the mistakes that I've seen so many people making, because there's a lot of misinformation out there about adding sand or don't add sand, and what type of sand to use, which, by the way, I'm going to talk about. The type of sand that we are using is literally just beach sand. It's sand that we get off of our beach. We take it up in a little back end loader, and we just drop it off here, and we have it on a tarp. And as we need it, we load it into the beds. You can use beach sand. Playground sand is ideal for those of you that live in like an urban area that don't have a beach nearby that you can take from. I don't suggest taking it from a public beach. I think that might be illegal, so don't do that. I'm not advised doing that. I'm not advising anyone to do that. But if you have like your own private beach that you can take sand from, it's free, so that's what we use. But playground sand is going to work great. Any type of sand, really, just not something that's going to be very expensive, because sand is sand. So don't get like construction grade sand, or like just don't spend a lot on your sand. That's all. It'll still work. It's just you're going to spend way more than you have to. So that's that. All right, so hopefully you all enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you all will either use sand or keep it out of your garden. Yeah, I know it's a simple topic, but it really, like I said, can make or break a garden. We've seen massive success and great results using it compared to years where we didn't use it. So hopefully you all enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something new, and we'll talk to you all later. Remember to grow big or go home. Catch you later. See ya. Bye.